Alright, so we've got Bardock on the first turn this time. So... Okay, interesting. So no super attack on the first turn. I mean, that is good for us. Can I get that rainbow orb there? Yeah, there we go. And yeah, we can get the 3 rainbow orbs to Bardock. So Bardock turn 1, 257k with the 77% buff from the trio. And then he's going to get a 30% buff when they super. And then he gets a 50% buff from his own super attack effect. Does he have an on super buff as well or no? 40% with each super performed up to 120. So technically when he gets his first super he gets another 40% as well. So I mean he can start to build up relatively quickly, but let's see. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the only time I've ever seen the trio die, though, is against a super from STR Blue Gogeta. But my 55% Beast Gohan, I'm pretty sure, has never died. Yeah, the trio don't have their stacks when returning from the standby. I mean, unfortunately, then, like that is a major downside to them, because you use the standby, don't kill the enemy, and then they don't tank a super that turn. It's kind of awkward. 4.3 is his attack stat on turn 1, so nothing particularly impressive. Additional normal. Him getting a double super early on is really, really good, because it's 40% buff from each super up to 3 times. So obviously that means it would take him 3 turns to get fully maxed out if he's only super attacking once per turn. So if you can get a double super with him on either turn 1, on like his turn 1 or turn 2, then he'll be maxed out straight away. He's obviously much more useful. But yeah, the trio at 55%, I would say. I mean, obviously, I know normally when we talk about which unit is better, we talk about Rainbow. But I'm just talking about my personal experience in the game so far. 55% trio, yeah, don't touch 55% Beast Gohan. Like, and I talked about it in that tier list as well, but it's like the ability to protect the entire team for a rotation. Like, giving everybody a 77% extra defense is cool, but... You know, you can't bring, like, a Cyberman on the team. This is just the most extreme example. You can't bring a Cyberman on the team, and then because the trio gives them 77% defense, then suddenly the Cyberman will be surviving against these tough bosses. But if you bring a Cyberman on Beast Gohan's team, and you're running double Beast Gohan, 2 turns in a row you can use the active skill to protect the entire rotation. Now, obviously, the Cyberman is the extreme example. You have to survive until you get to the turn where you can use Beast Gohan's active skill, but his is also usable quite early. So, it is great for the trio that characters like this, you know, like this Bardock, for example, by giving all that extra support, it kind of makes him a little bit more of an interestingly, you know, viable option, especially because he is at least providing the scouter to the team. But yeah, like some of these bad units that get made a little bit better by the trio support, I think somebody said it in the comment on that tier list video, like, it's not going to save those units from getting killed by super attacks, which is probably the most important thing, because it's the way that you will normally die in these difficult events, is just from eating a super. So, shout out to ZXN Kai over on the Twitch side for the follow. Right, so we got our 3 rainbow orbs. So after 1 super, he's at 470k. He's going to get 40% again when he supers. He's going to get 30% from there. Like, he gets so many buffs on the turn. And unfortunately, I don't know which of all of these are multiplicative and which ones aren't. So I don't know if they're... I don't think all of them are the percentage of this 469k. But he's going to get 30% extra defense when the trio super attacks. Then when he super attacks, he's going to get 40% extra from his passive. And he's going to get 50% extra from his super attack effect. So... depending on how that is all worked out, he is going up to like, what, 900k? Like close to 1 million, depending on what number it's based off of to start with. Which is funny to think that, like, just by having some support, like the TEQ Bardock of all units would be able to tank normals from like some of the current content, which is certainly interesting. And it is just because literally All Out Struggle is one of their leads. Connected Hope is to plus 30, so Bardock's on there 20%. Like, if you bring a bunch of, like, hard-hitting units on this team that could do a lot of damage, like, very quickly, and then had Bardock thrown on the team, you could probably, in some of these events, especially if he's not on turn 1, make it almost all the way through, if not all the way through the event, while he still has his Scouter active, which then obviously would be quite useful, having a Scouter on the team, but... but yeah, 30 stage EZA for Broly, oof. I mean, fortunately, it's a very good, like, the weakness category is just Earthbred Fighters, which, I mean, it's like one of the biggest categories in the game. Yeah, let's do this. Get the 7 arms for you. Get 24 key for you. And just get enough key for you. The good thing about Gojira is it doesn't really matter what, he doesn't need a certain number of orbs and he gets a bunch of extra key from the rainbow. So 1 orb and 1 rainbow orb and he's already getting his 18 key super, which is the most important part, and the rainbow orb to get the guaranteed additional. So or LRs or the Supreme Battle Spectacle tickets. I'm not sure actually, because it's the movie edition one, isn't it? So it's going to be all the movie heroes. So I think Tree of Might Goku's on there. I think he is the newest. Is he the newest movie hero? Yellow Coin LR. I mean, yeah, I thought his weakness would be movie heroes, or it probably wouldn't be Hybrid Saiyans for the movie 8 Broly, but yeah, movie 10 Broly Hybrid Saiyans potentially, but yeah, movie 8 Broly, I figured it would be movie heroes, maybe Super Saiyan or like All Out Struggle, but yeah, it's Earthbred Fighters, which does make it quite easy. And of course the new physical trio unit is on Earthbred Fighters, so if you have them, I mean, that's going to be the easiest way to do it, to build the team, is just have these guys as the leader. Zeno blessed me with Cell Max, nice. Yeah, it seems like an interesting choice. I mean, everybody but Vegeta that fought Broly in that movie were all Earthbred Fighters, and Vegeta didn't really do anything anyway, so I guess I could kind of see it. Vegeta not finishing him off is kind of annoying. I really want Bardock to get that last stack, but if I don't put him in slot 1, the trio is going to kill Gogeta. So So let's see. That puts him up to 558. And then Bulma, if we get the Bulma support, which we should, then... Actually, it doesn't even matter how much ki they get, because they're not going to get attacked. That's going to give him an extra buff as well. So he should tank the normals. Yep, and his scout is still active, so we know he's not getting supered. So there's no risk of that. Yeah, 8 mil. I mean... Like, obviously we're showcasing him for this, so we're keeping him on rotation. But if you wanted to throw them on this team as just a floater, like, he's got enough defense to tank normals. 8 million is not terrible for a unit that's basically just there to be a utility character. But yeah, the only thing I do think now, especially after having that, like, fumble in the previous run, is that if the major boss, like the final phase, is STR, you probably don't want to use the standby until you're in a situation where you know you're going to end up killing the boss. Because once they come out of the standby, their defense isn't as good, and then they can get hit by a super and die. So, whereas if we keep them transformed, at least for now, and they keep supering every turn, they should be fine. I mean, the funny thing is, like, the Brody trio don't do anything to help this team because it's not movie bosses or super bosses, but I think they are on the leader skill because of Power of Wishes. And they support with their orbs. There's a bunch of orb changes on the team. So they'd be giving support and potentially having that 100% dodge chance up, like, all the time. The only problem is they don't give the... It's the damage reduction, I guess, is what they only give to movie bosses and super bosses. But the other thing is all allies, depending on what key orbs you pick up. But that would be quite funny. But yeah, that's the main difference, is like what I was saying, is it's the making older units be able to be runnable because they can tank normals is obviously very good, but Bardock dies to a super. Whereas obviously if we're running Beast, we can make it so that once we get past a certain number of turns, Bardock doesn't have to take a super because the Beast Gohans just use their target ability. But I mean, this is the thing, like I said in the tier list video, like, I think for the top 3, you could switch them into almost any order as long as it's those 3, and I probably wouldn't argue. Like, although I did see, was it Truce List, put Cell Max above Broly, which I don't know about that. Now, the one thing I have noticed is that Cell Max can definitely get caught on turn 1. So I mean, if I want Bardock, I mean, I don't need Bardock to stack anymore, but it's at 600k start of turn. It's pretty good. But yeah, I can't risk putting him in slot 1 now that his scouter is not active, so we'll just have to do this and obviously know that he survives the turn without getting another buff. And yeah, Cell Max does have the restriction of having the allies. If you don't have certain allies, you can't use the active skill early. But yeah, Cell Max at 55% is really, really good. But I don't know, is he better with Broly at 55%? I don't know. There isn't a mission on the new Broly event to take a Broly. There's one for a Super Saiyan Goku, there's one for Paragus. Okay, this is interesting. How many rain? There's only 6. Can I use their one now, or do I just not bother? Nah. Best to just keep them safe. without getting a mega support. Because is her thing for 2 turns? No, it's just 1 turn, so it isn't going to give Bardock a buff, unfortunately. Yeah, I did like a physical Turles-led team with Paragus, which is easy enough because even though the team's not great, when you have Paragus on the team and Broly's getting a 75% debuff, like even his super attack, despite being an AoE, was just doing like double-digit damage to everyone except the free-to-play Paragus. He was taking like 40k, which even that's not that much. Yeah, Global Twitter just never posted it, so that's not a great sign going forward with the sync, right? That apparently still only JP is posting the EZA details for same time stuff. Oh yeah, no, the support is for 2 turns. I was talking about her active skill buff, because her active skill buffs everybody a little bit more as well, but that's only for the turn. We are Dokkan, yep. It's just not on Twitter. Sorry, you still have to be able to read Japanese or wait for somebody to translate it for you. Which is funny because we've got the data download now, so his information is in the game files, but they've never posted them anywhere yet, still. So if you're a global player, as we talk about like on the podcast sometimes, if you're someone who plays global Dokkan, but you're not like super into the community, like you don't go on Twitter, you don't look at Reddit, you don't really watch like YouTube videos of Dokkan and stuff like that, like you would still have absolutely no idea what Broly does, even though his details are in the files and they've been posted in Japanese. But I think they did say that, and in the Dokkan Now, they even said in the global Dokkan Now that his information would be posted on social media, but I guess they just meant only on the Japanese one. Alright, well, this is the final test. Gogeta does super attack in slot 1 a lot, so although we need to, we need to get 2 rainbow orbs, otherwise we don't get his defensive buff. That one from the top should drop down though, right? Yes, but not to where I was hoping it would. Oh, well, we're getting the Dokkan attack with the trio, so it doesn't even matter. We just win. I mean, so this is the crazy thing about running this Bardock, right? I guess I'll just not hit the nodes and see what happens. They probably still kill him anyway. See, that still does 687k. And they got sealed, which means they don't super, which means Bardock doesn't get the buff, and is now didn't get the extra stats from the 2 rainbow orbs. So that's awkward. He's only got 7.2, so he isn't killing him here. I don't think so anyway, because the Dokkan attack does extra damage, but it's not going to do that much extra damage. Yeah, 457 after normals. Oof. Yeah, so I mean, he could be kind of runnable. I mean, the thing is, if we hadn't got sealed, we would have won. So that's annoying that first attack had to be a super. But yeah, so I mean, he's kind of runnable on the team, and having the scouter effect like early on is nice, but yeah, you still got to be very careful with him. I mean, that was super unlucky, because even though he wouldn't have got really to do anything on that last turn, we would have won with the physical trio Dokkan attack. But obviously, as you can see there, like just having their 77% support from both turns, without getting their super attack effect as well. Bardock didn't get the 2 rainbow orbs, which does help him quite a lot, but obviously Gogeta post super, his normals hit really hard, so yeah, Bardock wasn't able to tank those. So unfortunately, as much as I would like it to be the case, and maybe some events you can get away with it, I would say the answer to the question is that no, TEQ Bardock is not saved by the physical Super Saiyan trio, as unfortunate as that is. You could definitely get away with running him in some events, and having that scouter is nice, but stuff like that could definitely happen, so it's kind of awkward. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out all the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.